Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of G9ijaTV NewsScope. My name is Olatunde and I'm bringing you some news across the globe. So I would just say sit tight and let's get on it. So the first thing we'll be talking about, the first news we'll be talking about today, it's in Nigeria in the person of Governor Fubara. Now, we all know the issues that have actually been trailing this governor, and the issue he actually has, with Wike, who is the current uh, FCT, um, shall I say, minister, which is the federal capital of Nigeria in Abuja. So there have been so many things that's been happening with the governor. Um, who basically was it was said he was actually being um, mentored by Wiki. So for some reason, so maybe because of godfatherism, you know how it is. You know, somebody helps you, you get there, and I don't know whether I should say help or basically just teleguide him for his own selfish reason. I'm just saying, so maybe not. So anyway, the thing was that the things fell apart. The center could no longer hold. So what has actually happened now is that there is a federal allocation that is normally given to all the states in Nigeria. So we now found out that that has been stopped. You know, for the states of Fubara, basically. So what we've been told now is that nothing is being given to him. So the governor basically, you know, he has really doubled down, you know, in terms of he doesn't want to be teleguided by Wiki. So he's decided that, you know, the best is there to serve the people. Good for him. So let's just quickly share this post so we can get a clear idea of what is really going on here. You know, there are times there are some people in life that when you know situation does arises, then what happened is that these key people they really double down. You know, they really double down and ensure that they do what they need to do. You know, regardless of what the circumstances. And kudos to the governor. So basically, he actually commissions a GGSS Awada. Um, I think it's like a training institute. I'm not entirely sure, but let's actually read this. So it actually reads, "I'm overwhelmed with joy standing here this afternoon to celebrate a project that is not associated with vindictiveness. I use the word because this project was awarded before May 2029, yet it wasn't funded. And the contractor are not even people I know. By the special grace of God, and because of the importance we attach to education as a key priority, we invited the contractors in August of that year, assured them that we would fund this project and made it clear we were not interested in changing contractors. This speaks volumes about the kind of leadership guiding the state. On Wednesday this week, we inaugurated an 11.8 kilometer Umuala Ebiri Link Road connecting Umuma and Itech. At the event, we boldly stated that very soon we inaugurate another project in Umuma. We even challenged those who doubted us, saying that the project we will commission in Umuma will be a first of its kind. However, some individuals who see social media as their only means of survival resort to selling dogs for a living have chosen to criticize us instead of reflecting on their own lives. I wonder why someone will go to school, have their parents invest in their education, only to settle for being a data boy and a dog seller. If those who claim to support you genuinely valued you, why didn't they offer you meaningful appointments? Sometimes it's better to reflect on your life than engage in baseless insult. Ask yourself if you are truly living a quality life. I'm just going to say something about this. I think it's high time, you know, anyone aspiring to be governor in Nigeria need to start stepping back a bit. then having a look, at exactly why they are there. I believe that Fubara should just ignore Wiki or any distractors and focus entirely. He's actually doing something great here, a project and educational project for the youths of the state, and yeah, he's actually here talking about what has happened, how they went about it. I think he's getting distracted. He should not be giving oxygen to distractors. There's no need to call anybody name. Focus. Let your revenge, let your work, your project, let it speak for you. It's just sheer waste of time. It's like fighting useless battle. Whether they are dog sellers or data boy, I don't know what that is. But the truth of the matter is that it shouldn't really have to take their eyes off the ball. God knows that states across the nation need huge sort of infrastructural development across the country. There is so much that governors could do. There will always be distractions. We know how it is. So if you're already there as a governor, so I don't see any reason why, you're talking about your achievement and you're bringing your distractions into it. What's that for? Let people see your achievement. Talk about your achievement. Don't even acknowledge the distractors. They will always be there. Sometimes distractions are good because they help us. They keep us on the straight and narrow. So we're constantly on our best game. But you actually now standing toe to toe, you're talking about something good and talking about those dog sellers. Nah, no need for that. From what I've seen about the governor, I think he's really doubling down, and that's the right thing to do. So I'm not going to really talk about much, but here is some of the here are pictures, of the governor. Is at the commissioning of government. Okay, that's the GGS. So government girls secondary school. How old are this is great. This is brilliant. This is the more of this. You know that's what you should focus on. You should forget about all those people who are talking about. The irony of the whole thing. I'll read some of the comments as well. You can see honestly, if you're paying attention to some people in life, you will never get anywhere. There are some people we need to, whether you're a governor, you're just a normal human being who has a huge vision, whether you have a vision or not. Well, it's good everybody has one. So the truth of the matter is that whatever it is that you are doing in life, focus on your mission, your vision. Just focus on it. So here we have some of the comments. It says, keep it up. Your son must hear this. And then somebody said, and so. Then somebody said, this is good, but see the grant of the school self. The governor needs to upgrade in quality of his project, I beg. Now only where cars day, now him then cement for the compound. Meanwhile, as he become a noise maker too, as he said, those who flag and commission projects are making noise. A whole governor commissioning uncompleted building, and he was even happy about it. For Bara with the doings, not that demented rabble rosa. You know, um, somebody said Dumbo must everywhere be cemented in a school environment. Is everywhere cemented in Eton, Harrow, Winchester, etc. Wike, Mugos. The truth of the matter is that there'll be distractors. We've said it. There'll be distractors. He does not need to actually acknowledge them. You can see even from the commentaries, you have people saying all sorts of manner of things. No need. Just keep doing good things. That will speak for you. That will be your defender. That's all you need to do. So moving on, let's move away from the Wike Fubara issue. So now we have another story here. It's about a man that breaks the wife's leg for attending clinic without permission. Sometimes I'm thinking, in which century are we in? Some I would say that some men, I don't I just don't get it. Why would somebody, for the life of me, if that is all they can actually do? You know, ah, if you have an issue, can't you use your mouth to talk? I think quite a lot of people believe that being a man means having a huge biceps, you know, looking like an Adonis, you're in the gym 24/7, tall, dark, huge, lovely looking. All that means jack nothing without the commensurate maturity, discipline, self-discipline. It's hard enough, God knows, trying to actually maintain your discipline, to maintain a disciplined lifestyle. Now you now have a guy who, whenever he feels that the moose gets him, or is it his testosterone, I don't know, maybe controls him, and then he flies into a rage like a gorilla on the loose. It's really sad. So let's take a quick look at this. He said the wife did not take permission. So therefore, the wife has now become to break her hand and leg. No, he must answer to the authorities for this one. One Malami Gibawa of Dubawa village in Kware local government area of Sokoto state has allegedly broken the right leg and hand of his wife for attending a clinic without his permission. Narrating our audio, the victim, Malam Halimatu Sadia, who is currently on admission at Wamako Orthopedic Hospital, said her husband broke her leg and hand because he saw drugs in her bag after she returned from her sick mother's home. I have been sick for about 4 months. I know the husband, did his best by calling a health worker who came and administered drips on me, but the sickness persisted. I had been pleading with him to allow me to go to the hospital, but he declined. There was even my relative who volunteered to take me to the hospital, but he refused. So when I went to see my sick mother, I consulted the health personnel who was attending to her. He gave me some drugs. When I came back home, he saw the drugs. He started arguing with me that I went to hospital without his permission. I told him it was the health worker that was attending to my mother who gave me the drugs. He then insisted on seeing the health worker, and I agreed to take him to him. While I was dressing up in my room, he came in, locked the door, and started beating me with his vigilante stick until I fainted. When he realized that he had broken my leg and hand, he started crying, pleading with me not to tell anybody what happened between us. In case somebody asks me, I should say I was knocked down by an Okada man. The husband, Malami, while confessing to his offense, described it as an act of the devil. Our offense, he said, was that she went to the hospital without his permission, despite all the efforts being made to cater for his family members who fall sick. When she came back from seeing her sick mother, I saw something concealed in the bucket she came home with and inquired about its content, which she refused to disclose to me. I insisted on seeing the content, then I snatched the bucket and attempted to run away with it, but she held my clothes from behind and tore it. Then I checked the bucket. I saw hospital cards, some drugs, and plastic kettles. I then asked her why she went to the hospital without telling me. I knew, and she knew I always cater for their medical needs because even last week I bought a health worker who treated her of diarrhea, he said. Malami, however, denied beating her with stick, saying it was when she was pursuing him to get back her bucket that she fell down and sustained fractures on her leg and hand. After breaking her leg and hand, I saw the traditional bone setter who set her bones back and later really brought another bone setter who I gave 50,000 to reset the bones and spent another 25,000 on drugs. I am now providing for her and the woman after despite my lean resources because I'm a farmer and a leader of the vigilante group in my community, he said. Malami, who was regretting his action, admitted, I caused her injury and I'm ready to bear the consequences of my action. But please don't let her leave me because I love her so much. And I know she loves me too. What happened is an act of the devil. Please try and convince her not to leave me. On why he was not allowing his family members to attend the hospital, he said, because there's no functional clinic in our area. Our reporter learned that the husband has since been arrested, brought to Sokoto State Police Command, but the spokesman for the command, ASP Ahmed Rufai, said he was not yet brief about the incident. You know, um, I mean, guys, what do you really think? Is this like an act of love? No, it can't be an act of love. You know, permission. She didn't go there. She didn't go to a party. She didn't go to a club. You know, all she did was actually she went to the mom, and there was an health worker there, and she asked for. Well, at least that's what's been reported. It's just what some people say about love. Obviously, I don't know, maybe it's just because of jealousy, some sort of jealousy, some sort of green eye demon, sort of took leave of his senses, and he decided to break, her leg and arm. And you said, please convince her not to leave me. Ah, You know, the world is such a complicated place, and is a place where one needs to have a very clear idea of where one stands in all things. The world is quite challenging. I mean, when you just look at this, it just made you realize that, what sort of love is he professing? That is a very weird kind of, that is not love. There's no love to begin by that, breaking your wife's leg. Even okay, if you said that, oh, it's because you love her, um, you don't want her to leave you, then why would you even think of, harming her or assaulting her in any shape or form? Well, I leave you. If you actually think otherwise, I don't know what you guys think. You can leave this in the comments what you think. Do you think he truly loves her despite everything that he did? Uh, right. So moving swiftly on, this is another case here that is really disheartening. It's about a 15-year-old girl. So this actually took place in Ondo State. Ondo police arrest 15-year-old girl for putting sniper in her friend's food and water. Wow, this is this is mad. Let me share this very quickly. You know, why would somebody want to do that? What is the gain in that for a 15-year-old? She's literally just starting her life. So it's the story goes this: Ondo State Police Command has arrested a 15-year-old girl, Kemisola, for attempted murder of her friend. The spokesperson of the command, Fumilayo Odulami, who disclosed this in a statement on Friday, December 6, 2024, said the teenage girl was reprimanded by her friend's mother 4 months ago. Wow. 4 months ago. So this girl was carrying some serious grudges. In order to seek revenge from the mother, she added sniper to the daughter's food and water. But fortunately, the young girl didn't eat the food. A 15-year-old girl was chastened, yeah, by her friend's mom to her friend, the friend's mom, basically chastised her, so she must have done something wrong. So in order to revenge, she had a sniper to her friend's food and water. A tale of, if I can't get the mother, I will get the child. Fortunately, the young girl did not eat the food. Parents, monitor your kid, the PPRO said. That's the police public relation officer. So essentially, you know, there is not much that is being said here. But one thing I just want to point out is this: how can a 15-year-old be thinking along this line? 15. She's not under any age of consent yet. 15 years old, man, and she's carrying a grudge. She was chastised by her friend's mom 4 months ago, and she's carrying this sort of thing in her mind. She was determined to actually do harm, either to the friend's mom or to her friend, in order to to avenge the perceived, you know, she must have taken it as an insult. She must have really taken it in such a very negative way, and that is just stating it mildly. 4 months ago, and she decides that, okay, you know what? So she knew what she was doing. I've seen cases like this, like a house help in a family. So maybe I can't say that maybe they didn't treat the girl well. This is another story. And she decided to put, some substance. She was caught, so they did. So the family was made aware. The girl didn't know that they've seen her putting stuff into it. So when she served the food, so they asked her to come and sit down to and start eating. She refused to eat. So they said, "Why won't she eat?" And she said nothing. So when she was confronted, then she admitted that she actually put poison. She was going to kill the entire family. That is a demon walking in a human walking in human body. I don't know. That girl must have been possessed by a demon of death. I think it's true. I think for most people, everybody just needs to be careful. So this day, people are really should be up. We should all be careful where what we eat. If you're a Christian, bless your food, because sometimes you don't know. You might. When I go to restaurants, sometimes I do pray. Pray over my food. You say, you can't. Why not? Because that could well save so many people's lives. Absolutely. Okay, so without much ado, let's go on to the next story. God will help us. So the next story is about the Amnesty International. The DHQ invites Amnesty International to prove civilian torture allegations following claim of 10,000 people dying in military custody. Wow. There's always been this thing, allegations about extrajudicial killing. And I think this allegation has been made against the DHQ um, by the Amnesty International. So because of that, so DHQ now decides that they want to invite the Amnesty. In fact, not that they're going to, they invite them that they should come. They want them to come and check to see whether they are hiding anything. So basically, um, DHQ, the Defense Headquarters, has called on Amnesty International to provide evidence for its allegation that civilians were tortured in military custody in Northeast. Amnesty International recently claimed that over 10,000 people have died in military detention since the Boko Haram insurgency began. Issa Sanusi, Amnesty International Nigerian Country Director, announced during a Thursday press conference that the organization had filed a case with the International Court of Justice in The Hague, alleging crimes against humanity in the region. Responding to this allegation, Edward Buba, Director of Defense Media Operations, dismissed the claims as mischievous. Buba clarified that the military does not detain suspects beyond the period necessary for profiling and hands them over to relevant agencies to release or prosecution after investigations. In a statement, Bubu said the attention of the defense headquarters has been drawn to some spurious allegations made by International Amnesty International during a press conference held on 5th December 24. It was alleged that since the onset of Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast of Nigeria, over 10,000 civilians died in Nigerian military detention facilities, among other spurious allegations. The armed forces viewed the pronouncement by Amnesty International as shocking, lacking in merit, as well as mischievous, particularly as it is coming at this ending cycle stage of the counterterrorism war in the Northeast. Though the operational environment has been complex and challenging, troops have painstakingly abided by the rules of engagement to extensively avoid civilian casualties in whatever shape or form. Buba emphasized that suspects are appropriately processed after arrest. Additionally, whenever arrests are made, suspects are profiled, after which the suspects are handed over to appropriate agency for release or prosecution as a deterrent to unethical conduct. There are standing court martials within the operational theaters to ensure justice is immediately administered to any hearing personnel during operations. He reiterated the professionalism of the armed forces under General Christopher Musa, Chief of Defense Staff. Overall, it is necessary to reiterate that the armed forces under the able leadership of the CDS, General Christopher Musa, remains professional in carrying out its constitutional mandates in line with global best practices. Buba concluded by inviting our Amnesty International to substantiate its claim, saying, on the whole, the armed forces invite Amnesty International to substantiate the data of the allegations. This will enable the military to conduct an inquiry in order to determine the authenticity or otherwise of the made allegations. Well, okay, don't have any comments here. I think the war on terror um, in Nigeria basically has been absolutely complex. There is so much that is actually going there. There is so much narratives out there that one has to be really careful in whatever one says, because without when you make allegations that you cannot substantiate, it's terrible. But one thing I can say is this: the Nigerian military, say what you may about the Nigerian military, they have been absolutely professional. Have they gotten it wrong in some instances? Absolutely, I believe so. But overall, if you ask me, if I would give them with 1 and 10, one is the lowest mark, 10 is the, excellent. I will actually will give them 8. So many Nigerian soldiers have lost their lives. And there was a story I actually wanted to share as well, which has to do with actually has to do with the governor, I think, of Borno. I understand that we want this issue of bandits, kidnappers, to be dealt with. This is one of the things that Amnesty International is talking about, that the Nigerian military. But you have to understand, I understand that we have, you know, a very high level of expectations, of professionalism from the Nigerian army. Regardless, you know, the Nigerian army are actually working in a very difficult terrain. you know there are people truly who sort of are like gun runners. I don't Now what we don't know is whether those gun runners are being exploited, being coerced into doing what they are doing. Okay. But so many young Nigerian troops, soldiers, they are being killed. And that cannot be taken, that cannot be taken for granted. Yes, we know that everyone, if everyone is actually found culpable of any crime, or engaging in any sort of terrorism or any form of subversion, yes, they should be actually be dealt with. But then, regardless of that, there's certain things that we actually need to actually look at as well. Is that Nigerian soldiers' lives matters. It is high time, where we've been a country for so long. When people die, people just walk like, what's my business? When you see people that fight for the country, they're like, the guy is just stupid. That is why, we have a lot of ills in the country. A lot of crazy things are taking place. And the people, we have this sort of contradiction, in the country that, sometimes raise his head. Somebody that steals a phone is beaten to death. They put tires on his neck and they will kill that person. You have somebody in government who steals billions. At the end of the day, after maybe you drag him for like 4 or 5 years, after a while, you see him walking the street, taking his family out, living large. Then we thought, they were thinking the youth who are coming are going to do any better. There's been this erroneous narrative about, oh, it's time for the youth. It's not about youth. I've seen some youth who are even worse than, the elders in government. So it has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with people who have the right attitude, the right character, the people who love and have, who have the love for Nigeria. A nationalist, people who really cares. They're not there. They're not there. So now, because of corruption, we've got this, this range of, you know, crazy stuff happening across the country. Banditry, kidnapping, terrorists, having sway all over the country. Now, because of the corruption, there have been allegations of we have inside, shall I say, fifth element, who are giving all these these despicable people information, to subvert the freedom, of Nigeria and of Nigerians. Sometimes, apart from the military, we should be applauding our military. And when I say this, I have not said that they are perfect. Our military are not angels. But if you've seen where Nigerian military have been in action, you will understand. I don't think it's the kind of job that most people want to do. But my prayer is that that day will not come when every able-bodied Nigerians will be called to defend the integrity of Nigeria. Because if not, we all have to stand up and be counted. It's all nice and good when we're talking about our military is this, our military is that. Even the Nigerian police, of course, I can give you 1,001, all sort of things that have happened. But they have been fantastic men and women of the force also. We can't just throw away the bat and the baby just because we have some, few, people within the force who gives the rest of the, you know, uh, of the police force a bad name, and even the military. We shouldn't just, where we actually find fault, we should be dealt with. Yes, I believe in that. But that does not mean that we just condemn as a whole. It's a bit like saying Nigerians, like South Africans would love to say, you know, as bad as things could be for foreigners in South Africa, we don't believe that all South Africans are bad. Of course, we know that there are some elements of the population that we just feel that they take leave of their senses, but not all South Africans. You know, lovely people. I've met a lot of them, great people, and I've always, and I've also, thank God, I've not met any stupid ones, but I know they're out there. Every nation has them, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's just how it is. So we have right. I think there's this particular story that is close to my heart. I think I've been saving this story that I want to talk about it because I just want to see. Yes. Okay. So I think I will do two in one. The other story I've got is about a Nigerian woman shares the suggestion about her South Korean colleague that gave to her in dealing with corrupt politician. It's a bit of a what a laugh. So now this story I want to talk about is about the Cardinal Governor Sani receive repentant bandit, reopen cattle market. The reason why this is so close to my heart is this. There have been stories of these so-called repentant people going back. They actually brought them back into the military, and I'm thinking, whose idea is this? What exactly are they trying to achieve? Are people trying to fake success in this? During the time of the past administration of the past president Buhari, this same thing was done, and these same people, they will come in, they will pack them, they will train them, buy clothes, put it on them. Then they will say, "Oh, they have repented. We're taking them through some program." I'm like, who says program project? On what? Which psychologist told them that the program they've actually implemented, these guys are now, they've renounced terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and all? No, not. I mean, a few months ago, I'm not even sure if it's up to a few months. These same people, they are for whatever reason, like I said, I don't know whose idea it is. Even somebody with at least that loves Nigeria. I don't want to use what I will be seen as being insulting, because my idea is not to insult anyone, but to actually tell you the fact, regardless of how you take it. So it's not intended to insult. I don't need to do that, because when we insult each other, what happens is that we lose the argument. Nobody wants to hear anything. How can we have all these same people? This not once, not twice. They will bring them. These guys were taken to they were brought within the Nigerian military. They ran away with all the with the weapons, everything. And they were seen dancing with their old colleagues that they said they've left behind. And they were laughing. And funny enough, a day after I think they showed that was shown, the rest who were still within the military took off. What amazes me is that the moment that has happened, would it not have been a wise thing for the military command to stand down all the other existing ones, just or to to sort of keep a watch on them, that whether they will join? And they did. What I meant by they did was that those other ones that the colleagues, because when this guy left, there were still others who didn't follow, but few days later they followed suit. And they were showing off the Nigerian army weapons they took with them. And here we are. We've got this same thing here. Said Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna. You know, I thought these guys were, I said I don't want to insult anyone. I thought these people are forward looking. Honestly, I thought these people have the love for Nigeria. To be a leader does not, to be a leader is not about you're not running a charity organization. You are not running an holiday resort or you are not a counselor. You're supposed to be able to take, hard, difficult decisions to protect the rest of the citizens from these despicable human beings who deliberately knew what they were doing. Governor Obasani of Kaduna State on Thursday in Bini Gwari received some repentant bandits and reopened the cattle market, which has been closed for about 10 years due to insecurity. The governor said his government collaborated with some federal agencies to establish the peace dialogue group to engage with stakeholders. Mr. Sani said, through numerous meetings and extensive discussion, we have built bridges of trust. Several senior bandit leaders had laid their arms and embraced peace along with their followers. Are you serious? According to him, these individuals are being enrolled in a rehabilitation program designed by the state government in partnership with federal government. This program adheres to international standards of disarmament, demobilization, reintegration, ensuring that these individuals can return to society as productive citizens, he added. The governor said the rehabilitation of the repentant bandits was based on the principle of carrot and stick, adding, while we welcome those who choose peace, we will not hesitate to take decisive action against anyone who continues to perpetuate violence. The security law enforcement and intelligence agency have already achieved significant results neutralizing bandits, kingpin, dismantling criminal networks, and rescue kidnapped victims, he further said. According to Mr. Sani, his government is developing what he referred to as the Cardinal model, which is a comprehensive framework for sustainable peace and security. This model will include disarmament, demobilization, reintegration, alongside investments in rural development and conflict resolution. It is a holistic approach that addresses both the symptoms and the root cause of insecurity, he added. Mr. Sani said his administration has made a remarkable progress, adding through strategic communication and inclusive governance. We have earned the trust and confidence of our people. Insecurity is significantly reducing, and ethno religious tensions and farmer elder clashes are rapidly becoming issues of the past. Communities from diverse ethnic and religious backgrounds are now united in their support for our peace building initiatives, fostering greater harmony and mutual understanding. The governor argued that although his government was making strides in revitalizing the rural economy, the efforts could not thrive without security. We have reopened rural markets, strengthened regulations of vigilance groups, and proscribed the activities of the Yansakai. These measures are aimed at fostering trust and creating an environment where peace can flourish, he said. Mr. Sani said the administration operates an open door policy and encourage dialogue as the foundation of lasting peace. He added, my message to anyone considering taking up arms is simple. Talk to us instead. Let us resolve dispute through dialogue, not violence. To the bandits who have yet to embrace peace, I urge you to reconsider. Enough is enough. The days of kidnapping, cattle rustling, forced levies, and other criminal activities are over. Those who genuinely seek, those who genuinely seek to change, will find the government ready to support them, protect them, and help them rebuild their lives. Wow.
Tight security was evident as Governor Basani alongside top government officials arrived in Briningwari to reopen the long shut down cattle market and welcome repentant bandits back into the community. This initiative is a key part of the governor's broader strategy to tackle insecurity in Kaduna State by offering a second chance to those who lay down their arms in the spirit of fairness and justice. The Emir of Briningwari, His Royal Highness Jubril Igwari II, expressed joy over the development, commending the role repentant bandits are playing in stabilizing the area.
Just about some few weeks ago, these people have released over 100 people that they have captured. And they have also, wherever there is anybody among them who feels he can do without them, they dealt with him. They are protecting us, they are protecting themselves.
Speaking to the gathering, Governor Basani highlighted the crucial role of the peace dialogue group in resolving conflicts, noting that the state is developing a robust framework for sustainable peace and security.
This model will include disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration, alongside investment in rural development and conflict resolution. It is a holistic approach that addresses both the symptoms and the root causes of insecurity.
He emphasized
Through
that
numerous
his
meetings and
administration will
extensive
not
discussions,
hesitate to take firm action against anyone who refuses to abandon violent activities.
Several senior bandit leaders have laid down their arms and embraced peace, along with their followers. Our approach is based on principle of carrot and stick. When we welcome those who choose peace, we will not hesitate to take decisive action against anyone who continues to perpetuate violence.
The governor assured the audience that the government remains committed to supporting those who genuinely seek change, providing them with the tools to reintegrate into society as law-abiding citizens. Abimadia Moses, AIT News, Kaduna.
Wow. So, I mean, guys, what do you think about this? You know, I'm not somebody that is close-minded, and I believe that the governor is, well, from what he've actually said. I think this is the most comprehensive that I've actually heard. Previously, I don't know. I think they were operating a sort of closed door, sort of a rehabilitation program that nobody's have a clue about. So now, he said a number of things, in regards to they're running this program in terms of realistically, rubber hits the road. So they are aware that some might still perpetuate, might be thinking of going back in. And I think more importantly, they're talking about programs that includes winning hearts and mind, which is really, really, which is a very, very brilliant approach, to all of the problems there. Because honestly, if you want to talk about what is the root cause of some of the problems we're having in the country, is corruption. Corruption has created poverty, greed. There's a lot of greed, there's a lot of corruption. In fact, corruption is so endemic that, is a threat, is an existential threat to the existence of Nigeria. In fact, to any nation. But in Nigeria in question, it is that bad. If we do not deal with corruption, it's just a matter of time. Even God in his mercy that has held the country together for us up until this time. The time will come that if care is not taken, Nigeria will cease to exist as a federation. So I don't know, what do you guys think? The governor has spoken about some fundamental stuff. I'm quite happy to hear that. So this is not just one of those fairy tale you know um pie in the sky sort of program, but they're talking about the root cause. Obviously they must have had their root cause analysis there to see exactly what the issue is, how all these things have transpired. Taking care, investing in infrastructural development in the rural areas, because these people are just being left there to their own devices. They see all these people, living in big houses, riding their big cars, and they are left behind. So obviously that does not justify their actions. So, but the governor actually talking about that, you know and inclusiveness, ensuring that they are giving them adequate support. So this is, I'm, kudos to the governor. I hope it works. We'll still be watching this, any thing going down, in terms of there's any positivity that we're actually getting feedbacks on, we'll report back. Okay, so, well, there it is, folks. I just want to say thank you. Just before I leave, the story about the let me just share that one quickly. It's just a very short snippet on X where a Nigerian that was, I'm not sure whether the Nigerian works in Nigeria or they're in South Korea. So that this Nigerian was complaining about corruption, with politicians, and the South Korean person gave colleague gave the Nigerian lady an advice in which she found very hilarious, and this is what it is. I've just shared it here. He said, "I once had a Korean. I don't know what kind of English is that. So let me see. Okay." He said an ex-user has shared a conversation between her and her colleague from South Korea. She said the colleague asked why Nigeria is so poor despite having oil, unlike the other oil-producing countries that are rich. The Nigerian woman responded that corrupt politicians are to blame, and the suggestion the Korean gave her afterwards left her amused. Then report them to the police, the Korean said with all seriousness. The Nigerian woman shared the story while reacting to a report that South Korean president is being investigated by the country police. You know, so you can imagine when you tell the Nigerians, like, are you like, which planet are you living on? Report to the police. So, well, I'll leave you guys now. So that's the last of the stories that I've got tonight. So I can, even I myself, I smiled when I looked at it that, you want to do what? Call the Nigerian police to do what? To come and help them to get the loot. So just want to say thank you guys. So once again, so we'll be seeing you again same time tomorrow, and God bless. Thank you.